I'm going to take you guys back about 15 years ago. My wife and I were at dinner. We were in Savannah, Georgia. We just graduated University of Georgia. Life was really, really good. She was selling real estate. I was building houses. Our life trajectory was, we could see it in full force. We were just talking about kind of how good we had it. We had just built our dream house. We were in there about a year. And everything was just really, really great. We were about to have our first kid. And about that time, a huge summer storm passed, really violent. And we decided to start heading home. And as we were doing that, we were crossing the causeway back to Wilmington Island from Savannah. And at that time, we look out and we see these magical colors from the storm in the distance, but we see some smoke. This isn't the kind of smoke you see out in the country when you're driving around. No, this is black smoke. This is metal burning. This is plastic burning. And as we get closer to our house, we start to, smell the destruction in the air. We kind of knew that somebody's life was going to change forever. We turned into our neighborhood. All of our neighbors were outside. I'll never forget just how quiet it was and the blank stares they had on their face. As we make the corner, we see our house.
Oh my God.
It took us 2 years to build. We were in it for a year. We just finished our nursery for our baby girl that was about to be born. And we're sitting there and we lose everything that we own. We lose our family scrapbooks, our pictures, our mementos from generations before us. Everything that we had was totally gone. So what did we do? The next day, we literally moved back to Atlanta. We had a baby girl, and we started to try to get back to a sense of normality. We tried to figure out a way how to put this behind us and start moving forward. I started to do real estate again, jumped right back into development, started to have some really great success early on. Everything was going really, really well. I developed this $70 million project right off Peachtree Road, and I was doing all other developments all across the Southeast. And then 2009 happened. Y'all remember this time? Yeah, Lehman Brothers collapsed, right? My net worth, from all the work and success I had early on, I pretty much lost it all. So in a short period of time, I lose everything that I had physically, and I lose everything that I had financially. How was I going to get through that shitstorm? Right? Well, Rick, was I going to let those two events define who I was? For some reason, I was born with an abundance of confidence. I don't know really why. I'm about 5'8". My kids say I got a dad bod. I'm losing my hair. I'm actually really not even this tall. I mean, I wear these lifts in my shoes, just to give me a couple more inches or two. But what I'm trying to tell you guys is if you can have these life obstacles in your life, it's what you do with them. It's how you can take these obstacles and figure out where to go, right? So in 2009, the banks weren't lending money to guys like me anymore, right? I wanted to jump into something where it was an easy barrier of entry. There wasn't any geographical, positioning where I could go, where I couldn't go, and no ceiling of how much money I could make. So I jumped right into selling real estate, being a real estate agent. My first year was 2009. My first year in the business, I did $18 million worth of volume. Wow. Second year, I did $44 million. Third year, I did $72 million. Fourth year, I did $100 million worth of selling real estate. The next year, $150 million. And the next year, $175 million. The next year after that, I grossed $5 million worth of commission, and I still did $175 million. I was pissed. Why was I mad? Because I went up and then I stopped, right? You can't stop, guys. You just can't stop. So the next day, I started a real estate company. Ansley Atlanta Real Estate. We just finished our fourth year last year. We did over $1.4 billion worth of sales in Atlanta with our two companies, Ansley Atlanta Real Estate and Ansley Developer Services. I'm not here to tell you all this to impress you. I'm here to impress upon you that success is here for anybody that wants it in this room. Now you've heard that before, right? Everybody can come over here and say that, right? But where I started, with losing everything physically, losing everything financially, jumping in the business, and doing what we've done since that time period, I want to give you 3 things that's going to help you get there. Wherever that is, right? So if you're doing 10 million and you want to get to 20 million, you're doing 50 million, you want to be a $100 million producer, I want to share three things that I do that's helped me get there. One is having this undefeated mindset, right? Having this obsession to be able to do what you want to do and how you want to do it. Then we're going to talk about mastering the momentum, right? We're going to put together a vision and goal to get you to where you want to go. And once you have that undefeated mindset, and then once you figure out the path forward to get to where you want to go, then you got to lean in and expect good things to happen, right? So let's jump into the undefeated mindset first. Guys, human nature is not to be good. Human nature is not to be great. What's human nature? Human nature is just to survive. You know? That's eating rice, drinking water, right? So it's not in our DNA, it's not in our makeup to go out and do things that are exceptional. You have to be completely and utterly obsessed with where you want to go. Literally, when I walked into the real estate office that hired me in 2009, I was determined to be the #1 agent in my marketplace in Atlanta the very first year. That's a pretty lofty goal, right? I was 30 years old, jumped in, hey, I'm going to be the #1 agent this year. How the hell is that going to happen? Because I'm 100% obsessed in doing that. Everything that I did was focused on selling real estate, networking, and letting everybody in Atlanta know that I can sell your home faster and for more money than anybody else. Period. End of story. When I'd go to a restaurant, I'd sit at the bar, I'd meet everybody in there and buy everybody drinks. When I go to the valet, I'd give them $100 and give them my books. Hey, next time a Mercedes comes in here or a Porsche, make sure this is in the front seat. Everything that I did was geared to be in front of the people that had good real estate to sell. But when you do that, you're going to be talked about, right? If you're totally obsessed, you're walking into a new market. There's people that have been doing it for years and years before you. Why does Beno market so much? Why does he post so much on the internet? Why are his postcards 3 times bigger than everybody else's? You know, what's this dude trying to prove? Right? They're going to talk, they're going to talk, they're going to talk. Quiet the voices. Remember, where you want to go, you got to be obsessed to get there. There's going to be a lot of haters out there that are talking about how you're doing stuff. It's because they're jealous. Because they're seeing you do things that they can't do. They can do it if they had the obsession mindset that you have, right? But it's not easy. It really is not easy, right? You got to go 10 times more for everything. So where you want to go and how to get there, you really got to get up earlier. You got to market 10 times more than your competitor. You got to do everything 10 times more. And that doesn't just equate to, your marketing and your selling. That's everything. That's your workout. That's your, spending time with your spouse. That's your kids, right? It's a whole concept. Look at this guy. God, it pains me to talk about Nick Saban. I'm a dog fan. Any dogs in the house? Yeah? All right. Nick Saban, right? He's got an undefeated mindset. He's won 5 out of the last 10 national championships. His business is a lot like ours, though, right? So whenever I have a good year, when you guys have a good year, you do the award shows. You start January 1st with what? 0 sales. Who gets a pit in their stomach January 1? Yeah. God, I had such a great year last year. Now I'm back at 0. How in the heck am I going to do it again? Think about Nick Saban. He's so good that he trains all of his players up so well that half of them go to the NFL after the season, right? His coaches that he's been working on his strategies and everything else, they get hired away. They go coach other colleges. So how do you think he feels after the national championship game? He wins it. He wakes up the next morning. Oh shit, I got to do this again? My quarterback left. My offensive coordinator left. My defensive coordinator, he's gone. What am I going to do? Cool. That's great. That's how we start. You create a baseline. And then you build on that baseline every single year. After every level, there's what? There's another level. You've heard this stuff before, right? But that's a mindset that you have to keep all this stuff going, right? That's what he does. What about this guy? Right? We were all so sad to see what happened to him this year. But I started studying him and started studying about his mindset. God, the guy woke up at 4 in the morning. He wasn't the tallest. He wasn't the fastest. He couldn't jump the highest. But damn if he didn't have this undefeated mindset to want to win, to outwork everybody else with his technique. Right? That's where you want to go. In the morning, you wake up. You going to do the things that you want to do? Or are you going to do the things that you need to do to get where you want to go? Right? It's really important, and it's an easy thing to read, but it's a really good thing to have. You can spend all your days just returning emails, returning texts, and stay in this urgent side of the world. I will tell you for a fact, you will not grow if you stay in the urgent side of the world. This is very hard to do, but you need to spend half your day in the urgent side and half your day in the important side. What's the important side, guys? The important side is thinking about new strategies, thinking about your vision, thinking about how you're going to take yourself from 20 to 40 million, from 50 to 100, from 100 to 150. Or maybe even to start a business, right? But if you stay on that gerbil wheel and keep it rolling, you're going to stay on that gerbil wheel and you're going to burn out. Right? So once you have this undefeated mindset of obsession and working 10x and doing the right stuff, you got to create this path forward to get to where you want to go. This is very, very important. All right, let's talk about Kobe, right? He developed extraordinary habits to make sure where he wanted to go in the future, right? So are your habits on par with where you want to go in the future? So if you're 25 and want to be at 50 million, right? Are your habits today on par with that? What does that actually mean, right? Well, figure out where your goal is, and then you got to work backwards from there. So every single year, when I was able to almost double my business from when I started, it doesn't just happen. It's not just easy. I had, on January 1, a clear path of where I wanted to go. And I worked backwards. So let's say I was at 100 million, want to be 150. January 1, I started thinking, acting like a $150 million agent. What does that mean? Well, maybe I hired another assistant. Maybe I brought in some more technology that I needed to keep up with having $50 more million worth of business that year. So I was top heavy with my personnel, my technology, and everything else on January 1 because I knew where I was going to be at the end. And I was always there at the end. I always hit my goals. Why? I was obsessed about them. 2, I had a path to get there. How you do anything is how you do everything. Kind of goes back to, you're going to do what you want to do, or you're going to do what you need to do. But this is cool, because you got to be all encompassed, right? When we heard the people talking about the teams here, if you're not on point with everything in your life and trying to 10x everything, you're going to fail. Right? Because you can't be a great real estate agent that makes a whole bunch of money or a great businessman and have a terrible marriage or not be great to your kids, right? So again, I love this. This is really, 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 really important. I didn't always have it easy, guys. Growing up, when I was this kid here, I was the last person you would think that would be speaking to you guys about success, right? Hell, I went to every school in Atlanta. Growing up, the only thing I learned early on from real estate was location, location, location. Or take this kid to a different location, location, location. I finally start fitting in when I went to University of Georgia. I majored in real estate, and by the 3rd year I was there, I took a class, and it all clicked in, you know? I made straight A's the next 2 years. I've never made an A in my life. But the next 2 years I made straight A's because I figured out and I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And I became obsessed at that time where I wanted to go. See, I never fit into a box in school. And maybe a couple of your kids don't fit into this box. Don't worry about it, right? There's an IQ box, and if you don't fit into there at school, they think that you're not going to go anywhere. It wasn't until I started learning outside the classroom to develop EQ. Who knows what EQ is? Emotional intelligence. So it's kind of the opposite of IQ, right? I didn't fit in the IQ box, but I developed this EQ outside the classroom. And that was being able to connect with people, being able to sell, being able to persuade, right? Very, very important as it relates to that. You got to make sure you're right in the business too, right? So if you're here at this conference, you're here for the right reasons. You're here to probably gain some knowledge to go out and kick some ass when you leave, right? But let's make sure everybody's in the sweet spot. So that means that you have the EQ to be a good real estate agent. You listen to people. You can market effectively and do things that other people aren't doing to be different in your marketplace. But you also got to make sure that you're passionate about real estate and you're passionate about people, right? If you do a lot of transactions every single year, you meet a lot of different people. They're not all normal, right? But you got to be able to get through everybody, right? So once you have that undefeated mindset, once you figure out how to master your momentum, then it's the fun part. Then you got to lean in and expect really good things to happen. That's where we are right now. I've been able to invest in my clients' companies over the years. I go show somebody a $3, $4, $5 million house, they buy it. I'm like, man, dude, what do you do for a living? Oh, I do this, this, and this. Can I invest in your company? Yeah, right? So now I've got a portfolio of 15, 16 different companies that I'm a partner in, all because of real estate. All because you're there and you've done things and now you're in a really, really good place. I'm in waste and recycling. I own bowling alleys. I'm in clothing stores. I've produced a movie. Don't ask me how that investment works, but I've done some really, really cool stuff, right? You got to expect good things to happen, and you got to get rid of terrible people that are around you. If you're around negative people, just get rid of them. Don't talk to them ever again. They will definitely slow everything that you want down. So, the most amazing and impactful inventions in the history of the world were created by men and women who had an unshakable belief. Imagine how far behind we would be as a society if it weren't for them, right? This experience has taught me that real success is born out of struggle, right? Y'all saw what happened to me in a short period of time. That gave me the fuel I needed to do what I wanted to do. Don't think that obstacles are a drag on momentum. Adversity forces you to develop what? Successful habits. Every obstacle gives you the strength to face your next conflict. That's the real secret, guys. That's the real secret to double your success. Thanks for having me here, and have a great rest of the year.